I didn't know Reddit could be useful, but I guess this is the exception. I'm your host Yusuf, and these are 10 scary crimes solved by Reddit. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's browse some subreddits. Number 10, carbon monoxide. This is a crazy story. So one user on Reddit stated a bunch of things in a post regarding post-it notes that they kept finding. They said this: on the 15th of April, I found a yellow post-it note in a handwriting that wasn't mine on my desk, reminding me of some errands I had to do, but told literally nobody about. While odd, I chalked it up to something I did in my sleep, thinking maybe in my half-awake state I scrawled it so it didn't appear to be my handwriting. I threw it out and thought little of it. On the 19th, I found another post-it note on the back of my desk chair, in the same handwriting as the previous note, telling me to make sure I saved my documents. I was freaked out, but there were no other signs of a break-in, so I set up a webcam in my house aimed at my desk and used a security cam app for it to record after detecting movement. On the 28th, I woke up to find another post-it note, this one saying, "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you, but it's important we do." I immediately checked the webcam's folder on my computer and found nothing from the night before, but my computer's recycling bin had been emptied, which I am certain I did not do recently, indicating someone had noticed the webcam and deleted the files. They were just saved straight to a folder on my desktop called webcam. Today, on the 1st of May, I found another post-it note, this time on the outside of my door with nothing written on it. And there also appeared to be post-its on many other doors in my apartment complex, all blank in varying colors. Another user, and probably aspiring detective, responded with this: "You seem sincere, and this doesn't appear to be a plot of a Ray Bradbury short story. It's possible that your landlord is leaving notes inside your apartment, but they don't make any sense in the context you're describing them. It's likely that you are writing the notes yourself, but you are forgetting. Do you use post-it notes as reminders in any other parts of your life or job? Yes, this might be a mental health issue. You might be experiencing some sort of dissociative disorder, or it might be a physical problem. You mentioned that you have a very unusual narrow bedroom with no windows. Is there a chance that you are not getting enough ventilation when you sleep, or that there is a carbon monoxide leak in the building? A cheap CO detector, which you should have anyway, is a fast way to find out. You'll also have really bad headaches." It turns out their landlord had stuffed their ventilation pipes with a rag and flooded the tenant's house with carbon monoxide. The user who responded likely saved the OP's life with their suggestion of a CO detector. Number 9, listening device. While staying at a hotel in Wales, for some reason, one Redditor's cousin unscrewed their power outlet in the room and found some sort of device hidden in the wall. They sent an image to their cousin, and they took to the subreddit r/whatisthisthing and asked fellow Redditors about the object. Turns out, a user found the exact model of the device and linked it. Here's the post. "Found it. This seems to be almost the same like you found. Seems to be a cheap GSM bug where the battery was replaced by a mains power supply. Can you confirm that it has a SIM card? I think the case is clear now. It is a long-range listening device using the GSM phone network. With the power supply, and if it was well hidden, it could have been there for quite a long time. Was definitely used to spy." That's some scary stuff right there. I think I'll pack a screwdriver next time I'm staying at a hotel. Number 8, Luka Magnotta. In 2005, Magnotta, who was going by his birth name at the time, was convicted of 1 count of impersonation and 3 counts of fraud. He had taken advantage of a mentally disabled young woman by convincing her to apply for credit cards and then using those credit cards himself to purchase over $10,000 worth of goods. He was also accused of assaulting the woman, although that charge was later dropped. He pleaded guilty and received a 9-month conditional sentence with 12 months of probation. The court noted at the time that Magnotta had significant psychiatric issues and did not always take his medication. In 2010, Magnotta posted a YouTube video titled "One Boy, Two Kittens," in which he deliberately suffocated 2 kittens in a plastic bag with a vacuum cleaner. He later published a second video of himself, this time drowning a cat in a bathtub. A third video showed him feeding a cat to a python. In January 2011, a private Facebook group identified Magnotta as the person in these videos. Animal rights activist groups subsequently offered a $5,000 reward for bringing him to justice. He was initially dubbed the Vacuum Kitten Butcher by the online internet activists. The internet community, which had identified Magnotta, reported him to authorities, warning that after committing acts of animal cruelty, he might pose a threat to humans. Their investigation was later chronicled in the 2019 true crime docuseries Don't F with Cats. In February 2011, Toronto police began investigating Magnotta in connection with the videos, after receiving a complaint from the Ontario Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. The OSPCA also contacted the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Britain, the American FBI, and police in Montreal due to the suspect's extensive travels. After a long investigation and a new subreddit being created dedicated for the manhunt of Luka Magnotta after he executed a human being, he was caught and identified by Reddit users to be inside of an internet cafe in Berlin. Number 7. Unlawful Officer. Walter Scott was a black man who was fatally shot by police officer Michael Slager in South Carolina. Scott was unarmed and running away from Slager when he was shot 8 times. A bystander filmed the whole thing on his phone, and the footage was widely seen online. A Canadian Redditor named Daniel Vauchart stabilized the original shaky footage so the order of events was clear. A cinematographer by trade, Vauchart says he got involved because the truth is the foundation of everything. While stabilizing the footage, he spotted a piece of evidence that could potentially corroborate the police officer's defense. In the police report for the incident, it was said that after handcuffing the man they had just shot 8 times, CPR was performed. In reality, the video shows that no CPR was performed at all. Later on, a second officer arrives, puts on blue medical gloves, and attends to Mr. Scott, but is not shown performing CPR. As sirens wail in the background, a third officer later arrives, apparently with a medical kit, but is also not seen performing CPR. This means that on the professional account of what happened there, the police just straight up lied on their report. It's almost unfathomable why you would handcuff a man whom you just shot 8 times, then lie about how you tried saving the man's life with CPR when nothing of the sort happened. The worst part about them lying is that they saw the guy who was filming and yelled at the individual. They knew the guy was recording and saw everything unfold and still lied on the report, thinking they could get away with it. The officer involved in the shooting was charged with the execution of Walter Scott, thankfully, but that doesn't take away the injustice performed by the police. Number 6. Grateful Doe. In 1995, Eric Hager picked up a young hitchhiker in his van. The van would eventually swerve off the road and hit a tree, ending both passengers. The hitchhiker was too injured to be identified, without ID, but with the banned Grateful Deed ticket stubs in his pocket. He was identified as Grateful Doe. Around 20 years later, a Redditor named Layla Betts found the cold case online and started digging. She eventually started a Grateful Doe subreddit where others joined in the hunt for answers. Eventually, photo reconstructions and a chance message from someone who turned out to be the victim's former roommate led to Jason Callahan's mom, who confirmed her son went missing after he left to follow the Grateful Deed's tour in '95. That turned into DNA confirmation. After 20 years, Jason Callahan was finally put to rest, thanks in large to Betts and the Reddit community who'd backed her dogged curiosity. Number 5. Hit and Run. In recent years, a user named Meatheaded posted a photo of a piece of a headlight he'd found at the scene of a hit and run, along with the question, any idea what it belongs to? Some 435 comments later, users eventually pinpointed it as a piece of a gray 1991 Cadillac Brougham, and Meatheaded did the rest. I sent a link of my findings, thanks to you guys, to the auto theft unit. So you guys know, in the original accident, the suspect was identified after he was seen yelling out the window that the car was stolen, but we could never find the car. So not only will he go down for several traffic crimes, but it looks like auto theft as well, assuming the damage matches. You guys rock. Number 4. Obsessed. When the media serves up unsolved mysteries like the podcast Serial or the Netflix series Making an Executioner, leave it to Reddit to take up the charge of finishing the job, or at least talking about it a lot. Making an Executioner's subreddit has almost 65,000 subscribers and Serial's almost has 51,000. Both forums are full of theories, speculation, and even some on-the-ground reporting, like guided video tours of the locations mentioned in Serial. But nothing new was uncovered, and these unsanctioned investigations gave a lot of police officers and reporters pause. How can we be sure 50,000 untrained truth seekers will keep ethics in mind when digging for answers? We can't. Siblings of both Hae-Min Lee, the victim at the center of Serial's story, and Adnan Syed, the man convicted of executing her, have intervened online, reminding sleuths that they're dealing with real people, real families, and real lives. But as the saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Number 3. Subway Ciphers. It sounds like a plot from a bad spy movie. A mysterious person hands an ordinary subway rider a note and a $50 bill and then disappears into the crowd. The note is a coded message, but the subway rider is no spy or secret agent. So how to decode it? Enlist Reddit readers, that's how. The ordinary man Reddit user Delver of Secrets told his fellow Reddit friends via a post that he got a note and a $50 bill from a raggedy looking man on the subway. The note was a grid of letters on the front, and on the back it contained 2 rows of letters. Some of the letters were in Hebrew and Russian. The first message said, "There's plenty more money to make, figure this out and prepare to meet July 19th, 56th and 6th hot dog stand outside Rue 57 Cafe, ask for Mr. Input." After the Redditors decoded that message though, Delver of Secrets said another message came, also encrypted, that said, "You have managed to find the message with the help of friends. You changed the rules, now so will I. July 12, 4 p.m. at 6.5 and 56th and tell him you are the last." The second message came from a Redditor called Hoboman, and other Redditors noted that the username led to an IP address at a military base in Arizona, one that specializes in intelligence training. Number 2, Brad Willman. Willman identifies himself as a private computer cop and previously used the aliases Garby and Omnipotent. In the late 1990s, Willman began tracking and investigating people who downloaded predatory content from the internet. At some time before 2000, Willman devised a Trojan horse, a type of computer program that he used to conduct his investigations. The Trojan horse was posted to websites of interest to predators in a way that it appeared to be a picture file attached to a message, but was actually a program file. When a visitor to the predatory website downloaded the file, the visitor unwittingly downloaded the Trojan horse, and would typically be unaware that it was running on his or her computer. Willman had no control over who chose to download the Trojan horse. Once it had been downloaded, Willman could access, search, and retrieve files from the infected computer. Willman stated, "My whole intent, after the program started working as I expected it to, was to help." Willman estimated that his Trojan horse gave him access to between 2,000 to 3,000 computers that had been used to visit websites of interest to predators, including those of police officers, military personnel, social workers, priests, and judges. It's possible he used Reddit to get some help. Number 1, Sean Power. An Ottawa man who tracked his stolen laptop to a bar in New York City became a Twitter sensation overnight after some of his followers on the social networking website went to the location and confronted the man allegedly using his computer. Sean Power said his MacBook was stolen 3 days ago in New York. At first, he forgot that he had installed a free tracking program called Prey 6 months ago. But when he remembered about the software a couple days later, he set about to track his computer down. Power began chronicling his efforts on Twitter some night and started using Prey's capabilities to gather information on the man who was in possession of his computer, including a picture taken with the computer's built-in camera. Not only did I have his face, but I also had a screenshot of what the person was doing. So over the next hour and a half, I had him logging into his Skype account, logging into his Gmail. Power told CBC News. I even had his bank account with the total amount of money that he had. I guess he just didn't realize that this was happening. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time on Crime Time.